The world turns its eyes to the Vatican this Sunday, May 18, 2025, as tens of thousands of faithful, dignitaries, and spectators gather to witness the historic inauguration of Pope Leo XIV. This momentous occasion is not merely a ceremonial rite, it symbolizes the official beginning of a new chapter in the spiritual leadership of the Catholic Church, a faith followed by over 1 billion people worldwide. Beyond its profound religious significance, the event unfolds as a grand diplomatic gathering, drawing royalty, heads of state, prominent global leaders, and influential religious figures from every corner of the globe. In a time marked by geopolitical challenges, social change, and evolving global values, the inauguration of Pope Leo XIV represents both continuity and renewal. It offers a chance for the Church to reaffirm its mission while addressing the hopes and concerns of contemporary society. The solemn rituals, ancient traditions, and heartfelt prayers that define the ceremony will set the tone for the pontificate to come. Join us as we explore everything you need to know about this extraordinary event, the elaborate celebrations, the sacred rites of the Pontiff inauguration, and the vision Pope Leo XIV brings to his leadership. From the historical significance of the Vatican's oldest ceremonies to the future path the new Pope intends to chart, this moment invites reflection, anticipation, and unity among millions worldwide. 1. A historic day. What is the Pope Leo XIV inauguration? The inauguration of Pope Leo XIV is far more than a ceremonial event, it is a historic milestone that marks the formal commencement of the Pontiff's reign as the spiritual leader of the world's largest Christian denomination. The significance of this day reaches deep into the traditions of the Catholic Church, embodying centuries of religious heritage, solemn ritual, and sacred symbolism. Taking place at the iconic St. Peter's Square, the sprawling open-air plaza in front of St. Peter's Basilica within Vatican City, the inauguration is witnessed by tens of thousands of attendees. Pilgrims, clergy, diplomats, and distinguished guests from around the globe convene in this hallowed space, united by a shared sense of reverence and anticipation. This grand setting, rich in history and architectural magnificence, sets the perfect stage for the beginning of a new papal chapter. The inauguration ceremony itself is an intricate blend of ancient customs and profound spiritual acts, all designed to officially confer upon Pope Leo XIV both his spiritual and temporal authority. The ceremony marks his acceptance of the responsibilities and duties as the Bishop of Rome and the Vicar of Christ on earth. Through these titles, he assumes the role of shepherd and guide to over 1 billion Catholics worldwide, charged with leading the Church in faith, doctrine, and moral guidance. One of the most visually powerful moments of the inauguration is the bestowal of the pallium, a woolen vestment symbolizing the Pope's pastoral authority, and the presentation of the fisherman's ring, which signifies the Pope's unique position as the successor to St. Peter, who was a fisherman by trade. These sacred symbols emphasize continuity with the early Church and highlight the Pope's role as a spiritual father and unifier of the Catholic faithful. In addition to these rites, the inauguration includes the solemn Mass celebrated by the new Pontiff, prayers for peace and unity, and a series of addresses that outline the themes and priorities expected during Pope Leo XIV's pontificate. The event also underscores the Pope's role on the global stage, as a moral and diplomatic leader who often influences not just religious matters but international relations and humanitarian issues. As Pope Leo XIV steps forward to take his place at the helm of the Catholic Church, this inauguration day becomes a moment of profound hope and renewal, not only for the Church but for millions who look to the Vatican as a beacon of faith, compassion, and guidance in an ever-changing world. This historic day is a powerful reminder of the enduring legacy of the papacy and its timeless mission to inspire and lead with humility and conviction. 2. Who is the new Pontiff? A glimpse into Pope Leo XIV's biography. Before the world knew him as Pope Leo XIV, the new Pontiff lived a life deeply rooted in faith, humility, and service. Born in Chicago in 1958 as Michael Anthony O'Connell, his journey to becoming the leader of the Catholic Church is a testament to dedication, compassion, and a steadfast commitment to dialogue in an increasingly complex world. From an early age, Leo XIV exhibited a strong spiritual inclination paired with an approachable, down-to-earth personality. Growing up in a vibrant multicultural city like Chicago, he developed a unique appreciation for diverse cultures and perspectives, a quality that has deeply influenced his pastoral approach. Unlike the traditional image of a distant religious figure, Leo XIV is known for his warm smile and genuine interest in people's lives. His love for baseball and tennis, sports deeply ingrained in American culture, have helped him connect with everyday individuals in ways few popes have before. This blend of relatability and spiritual leadership has made him a beloved figure even before his election. His path to the papacy was marked by decades of dedicated service within the Church. Ordained a priest in 1984, he quickly earned a reputation for his commitment to education and social justice, focusing especially on marginalized communities. He pursued advanced theological studies in Rome and later served as a professor and rector at several seminaries, shaping the next generation of clergy with an emphasis on compassion and intercultural understanding. Pope Leo XIV's tenure as Archbishop of Chicago further cemented his role as a leader who prioritizes peacebuilding and dialogue. Throughout his ecclesiastical career, he advocated for interfaith cooperation, addressing global issues such as migration, poverty, and environmental stewardship. His emphasis on mercy and reconciliation resonated during times of political and social unrest, earning him respect beyond the Catholic community. His election as the first American pope is historic, marking a significant milestone in the Church's outreach and inclusivity. It symbolizes the Church's recognition of the growing Catholic population in the Americas and its desire to embrace a broader, more global perspective. This new chapter reflects Pope Leo XIV's mission to bridge divides, not only between different faiths but also across cultural and political boundaries. In choosing the name Leo XIV, he honors his predecessors who were known for their strength and leadership during challenging periods, signaling his readiness to guide the Church through contemporary issues with courage and wisdom. As the spiritual shepherd to over 1 billion Catholics worldwide, Pope Leo XIV's biography reveals a man shaped by faith, enriched by culture, and prepared to lead with humility and vision in a rapidly changing world. 3. The Inauguration Ceremony, Traditions and Symbolism that define the event. The inauguration of Pope Leo XIV is not just a ceremony, it is a profound ritual steeped in centuries of tradition, rich symbolism, and spiritual significance that reflects the continuity and sacred responsibility of the papal office. Held in the majestic St. Peter's Square, the event unfolds with a series of carefully choreographed rites that echo the Church's long history and its role in guiding the faithful across generations. The ceremony begins with the arrival of the new pope at St. Peter's Basilica, where throngs of pilgrims and dignitaries gather in anticipation. As the successor of St. Peter, the first pope, Leo XIV's entrance symbolizes the unbroken chain of apostolic succession, a cornerstone of Catholic belief. The crowd's fervent cheers and prayers set a reverent tone, acknowledging both the joyous occasion and the solemn responsibilities that lie ahead. Central to the inauguration is the bestowal of the pallium and the ring of the fisherman, two potent symbols of papal authority. The pallium, a woolen band worn around the shoulders, signifies the Pope's role as the shepherd of the universal Church, echoing Christ's call to care for his flock. Crafted from lamb's wool, it represents purity, sacrifice, and the weight of spiritual leadership. When Pope Leo XIV dons the pallium, he visibly accepts the mantle of guiding millions of believers worldwide. The ring of the fisherman, another iconic emblem, recalls St. Peter's original occupation as a fisherman and serves as a reminder of the Pope's mission to fish for souls. The ring also carries the Pope's seal, traditionally used to authenticate official documents. During the inauguration, this ring is ceremoniously placed on Leo XIV's finger, symbolizing the authority he wields in matters of doctrine and governance. Throughout the ceremony, prayers, hymns, and scriptural readings punctuate the proceedings, drawing the congregation into a collective act of worship and reflection. The Pope delivers his inaugural homily, a moment eagerly anticipated by the global Catholic community, where he outlines his vision for the Church, emphasizing themes such as compassion, unity, and service. Beyond the religious significance, the inauguration functions as a grand diplomatic event. Representatives from countries around the world, including heads of state, royalty, and religious leaders, attend to pay homage, reinforcing the Vatican's unique position as both a spiritual and geopolitical entity. The Pope's role extends beyond ecclesiastical boundaries. He is a moral voice on issues like peace, human rights, and environmental stewardship. 4. The Grand Ceremony, what to expect at the Pontiff Inauguration celebration. The inauguration of Pope Leo XIV promises to be a spectacular event filled with grandeur, solemnity, and heartfelt celebration, drawing tens of thousands of the faithful, dignitaries, and media from around the world to the Vatican on this historic Sunday morning. From the moment the sun rises over Rome, the atmosphere in St. Peter's Square is electric with anticipation and reverence, as people gather hours in advance to secure a place along the vast piazza, eager to witness this once-in-a-lifetime occasion. The day officially begins early with a grand procession, featuring the newly elected pontiff traveling in the famous Pope Mobile through the throngs of pilgrims. This iconic vehicle allows the Pope to be clearly seen by the crowds as he makes his way towards St. Peter's Basilica, allowing for waves, smiles, and blessings to be shared in a warm and personal connection with the people. The sight of Pope Leo XIV in the Pope Mobile will no doubt become an enduring image symbolizing the accessibility and compassion that has characterized his ministry. Once inside the Basilica, the formal inauguration Mass commences, expected to last approximately 3 hours, a rich liturgical celebration blending tradition with moments uniquely reflective of Pope Leo XIV's personal style and priorities. The Mass is celebrated in multiple languages to emphasize the Church's global reach and the diverse cultures it embraces, with choirs and orchestras enhancing the solemnity through stirring hymns and sacred music. A central highlight of the ceremony is the inaugural homily delivered by Pope Leo XIV himself. In this pivotal address, the Pontiff will articulate his vision and priorities for the Church during his pontificate. Early indications suggest his message will focus on urgent themes such as global peace, compassion for the marginalized, interfaith dialogue, and the Church's active role in addressing ongoing international conflicts and humanitarian crises. These themes resonate deeply in a world still grappling with division, displacement, and environmental challenges, signaling a pastoral approach rooted in empathy and action. Throughout the Mass, several symbolic rituals underscore the weight and sacredness of the occasion. The Pope will receive the pallium and the ring of the fisherman, tangible emblems of his spiritual leadership and authority. Additionally, the Mass includes moments of prayer for world leaders, peace, and the universal Church, inviting all present to unite in hope and supplication. Outside the Basilica, the excitement continues as the event unfolds into a broader celebration in St. Peter's Square. Flags and banners from countries across the globe decorate the space, while local vendors and volunteers ensure that the festive yet respectful atmosphere supports the thousands of pilgrims who have traveled far and wide. Security is tight but discreet, aiming to maintain safety while allowing the joyous spirit of the day to shine. As the ceremony concludes, Pope Leo XIV will give his first Urbi et Orbi blessing from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, a moment charged with emotion, hope, and spiritual significance. This traditional papal blessing, meaning to the city and the world, sends a powerful message of peace and goodwill to Catholics and people of all faiths worldwide. The grand inauguration ceremony is much more than a ritual. It is a historic celebration of faith, leadership, and unity that will set the tone for the new Pope's time, guiding the Catholic Church through the complex challenges of the 21st century. 5. A diplomatic stage, global leaders at the Pope Leo XIV celebration. The inauguration of Pope Leo XIV is not only a profoundly spiritual occasion but also one of the most significant diplomatic events on the international calendar. The Vatican, as a sovereign city-state and a unique moral authority in global affairs, plays a pivotal role in facilitating dialogue and fostering peace among nations. This pontiff inauguration will once again highlight the Holy See's ability to bring together an extraordinary gathering of world leaders, royalty, and dignitaries, reflecting the universal significance of the papacy beyond purely religious boundaries. Among the distinguished guests attending the ceremony are some of the most influential figures in global politics and diplomacy today. Their presence underscores the Vatican's role as a neutral ground where diplomacy and spiritual leadership intersect. For example, Prince Edward will be representing King Charles III, symbolizing the continued historical connection between the British monarchy and the Holy See. His attendance also signals the importance of maintaining strong diplomatic ties between the United Kingdom and the Vatican, especially amid ongoing geopolitical challenges in Europe. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's participation carries profound weight. His presence is a poignant reminder of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and the urgent international quest for peace. The Vatican's invitation to Zelensky opens a unique opportunity for quiet diplomatic engagement, allowing for discussions under the spiritual auspices of the Pope, who has repeatedly called for reconciliation and dialogue in war-torn regions. This act of hosting a leader actively involved in such a crisis further elevates the inauguration's importance as a platform for peace-building. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, known for his experience in economic leadership and climate advocacy, also adds a crucial voice to the gathering. His attendance highlights the Church's growing emphasis on environmental stewardship and social justice, issues that Pope Leo XIV is expected to champion during his pontificate. Canada's strong Catholic heritage and Carney's commitment to sustainable development create a natural synergy with the Vatican's global mission. From the United States, the presence of Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio marks a significant diplomatic gesture. The U.S. delegation's involvement demonstrates the importance Washington places on maintaining close ties with the Holy See, especially given the country's large Catholic population and its strategic interest in global religious affairs. Their attendance also opens the door for bilateral discussions on humanitarian aid, religious freedom, and cooperation on international crises. 6. Pope Leo XIV News, Early Papal Actions and Public Messages. In the critical days leading up to his inauguration, Pope Leo XIV has already made headlines with his thoughtful and compassionate outreach, signaling a papacy deeply rooted in peace, unity, and humanitarian concern. As the world faces complex and ongoing crises, most notably the war in Ukraine and instability in the Middle East, Leo XIV's early messages reveal a pontiff who views the Church not just as a spiritual guide but also as an active advocate for reconciliation and global solidarity. One of the most notable themes in Pope Leo XIV's early communications is his unyielding commitment to peace-building. Recognizing the immense suffering caused by armed conflict, the new pontiff has called upon all parties involved in regional and international disputes to engage in dialogue and to seek non-violent solutions. His appeals are not limited to formal diplomatic channels but extend to ordinary citizens, urging a universal embrace of empathy and mutual respect. Through this inclusive approach, Leo XIV sets the stage for a church that seeks to be a bridge builder in fractured societies. Humanitarian advocacy forms another cornerstone of his emerging papal identity. Pope Leo XIV has emphasized the Church's mission to protect and serve the most vulnerable populations, including refugees, displaced persons, and victims of violence and poverty. His messages underscore the importance of love and tenderness, values he highlights as essential antidotes to the indifference and hostility that often accompany conflict and hardship. This focus signals a compassionate leadership style that prioritizes action and solidarity with those on society's margins. In the days before his formal inauguration, Pope Leo XIV also released statements calling for greater unity within the global Catholic community. He recognizes the challenges posed by cultural and ideological diversity within the Church and stresses the need for a shared vision rooted in faith, hope, and charity. This call for unity is not merely spiritual but also practical, encouraging collaboration among Church leaders, laypeople, and organizations to address social issues collectively and effectively. Pope Leo XIV's early rhetoric is marked by an emphasis on humility and service. He portrays his role not as one of dominance or control but as a servant leader committed to listening and responding to the needs of the faithful and humanity at large. This approach has already resonated widely, inspiring hope among Catholics and observers alike that his pontificate will be one of renewal and constructive engagement with the world's pressing challenges. As Pope Leo XIV prepares to officially take on his responsibilities, the tone he sets through these initial messages promises a papacy defined by tenderness, courage, and an unwavering dedication to the common good. His leadership arrives at a pivotal moment in history, one that calls for both spiritual guidance and tangible efforts toward peace and justice. The world now watches eagerly to see how these early commitments will unfold in the months and years ahead. As Pope Leo XIV prepares to officially take on his responsibilities, the tone he sets through these initial messages promises a papacy defined by tenderness, courage, and an unwavering dedication to the common good. His leadership arrives at a pivotal moment in history, one that calls for both spiritual guidance and tangible efforts toward peace and justice. The world now watches eagerly to see how these early commitments will unfold in the months and years ahead. 7. The legacy ahead, what the Leo XIV pontificate means for the world. As the world welcomes a new spiritual leader, the pontificate of Pope Leo XIV stands poised to chart a meaningful course through the complexities of the 21st century. Every papacy brings a unique voice and vision, and the early signs suggest that Leo XIV will leave a legacy rooted in tradition while boldly confronting the modern world's evolving challenges. His historic election as the first American pope already marks a significant departure from precedent, signaling a church that is increasingly global, diverse, and responsive to the times. One of the defining aspects of Pope Leo XIV's emerging leadership is his commitment to inclusivity. Coming from a multicultural society like the United States, he brings with him a deep understanding of pluralism and interfaith engagement. His messages so far emphasize building bridges between cultures, religions, and ideologies, a vision particularly needed in an age of polarization, geopolitical division, and religious misunderstanding. As such, the Leo XIV pontificate is expected to be one of outreach, fostering conversations with communities that have often felt marginalized or distanced from the Catholic Church. Global issues such as climate change, forced migration, and digital transformation are expected to be at the forefront of Pope Leo XIV's agenda. Echoing the environmental concerns raised in Laudato Si under Pope Francis, Leo XIV is anticipated to take a bold stance on ecological stewardship. His papacy could see expanded church support for sustainable development, eco-justice, and the moral implications of environmental policy, resonating with younger generations and secular audiences alike. Similarly, his emphasis on migration and social justice points to a papacy concerned not just with spiritual welfare but also with the rights and dignity of all people. At a time when millions are displaced by conflict, poverty, and climate change, Pope Leo XIV's voice may become a powerful moral force advocating for humane policies, compassionate integration, and international solidarity. Another area where Pope Leo XIV is expected to make a lasting impact is technological ethics. With the rise of artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and digital surveillance, the Church under his leadership may provide moral guidance on how humanity should navigate these frontiers. His American upbringing, likely informed by exposure to cutting-edge technology and cultural shifts, positions him uniquely to engage these issues with a pastoral yet informed perspective. In continuing the Church's tradition of diplomatic engagement, Pope Leo XIV is also expected to enhance the Vatican's global influence. His interactions with world leaders may serve to position the Holy See not only as a spiritual center but also as a voice for peace, dialogue, and human dignity in international affairs. Ultimately, the legacy of Pope Leo XIV will depend on how he balances the sacred with the secular, the timeless with the contemporary. As he embarks on his pontificate, the world watches with hope and anticipation, eager to see how this historic papacy will inspire faith, foster peace, and shape the global conscience for years to come. 8. The Pope Leo XIV Inauguration, a celebration of faith and global unity. The inauguration of Pope Leo XIV is far more than a ceremony of succession, it is a profound celebration of faith and a vivid expression of global unity under the spiritual banner of the Catholic Church. For over 1 billion Catholics around the world, this moment signals continuity, renewal, and shared purpose. It marks the beginning of a new chapter in a 2,000-year-old spiritual tradition that transcends borders, languages, and cultures. The scene in St. Peter's Square is one of awe and reverence. Pilgrims from every continent gather shoulder to shoulder beneath the colonnades of Bernini's masterpiece. Many have traveled great distances and made personal sacrifices to witness history in the making. Thousands more watch via live streams and television broadcasts, from rural parishes in Latin America to cathedrals in Europe, from underground churches in parts of Asia to bustling dioceses in Africa. The event unites millions in prayer, joy, and reflection. Central to the day's celebration is the Mass, a deeply symbolic liturgical event rooted in centuries-old rites. As Pope Leo XIV receives the pallium and the ring of the fisherman, these sacred emblems affirm his role as the successor of St. Peter and the visible head of the universal Church. The moment is steeped in spiritual gravity, it is not a political coronation but a humble acceptance of pastoral responsibility, a covenant with the faithful and with God. But amid the solemnity, there is celebration. Choirs sing ancient hymns, the Sistine Chapel choir blends seamlessly with local voices, and the joyful cheers of the crowd echo across Vatican City. This is not just a day of tradition but of hopeful beginnings. The faithful are not only witnessing history, they are part of it. Their presence reaffirms that the Church is alive, active, and anchored in community. What makes the Leo XIV inauguration particularly powerful is the spirit of unity it fosters. Leaders of various Christian denominations, Jewish rabbis, Muslim imams, Buddhist monks, and other interfaith representatives attend the celebration, a living testament to the Pope's commitment to dialogue and peace across religious divides. In an age marked by fragmentation and ideological polarization, the Catholic Church, through this event, offers a vision of spiritual solidarity and global harmony. For the Catholic faithful and for the world at large, the inauguration of Pope Leo XIV becomes not just a page in history but a turning point for the future. It renews the Church's commitment to compassion, mercy, and service. It reminds believers of their shared faith and common values. And it inspires the world with a message that even in times of uncertainty, there is unity to be found in faith, and hope to be found in leadership rooted in love. Why Pope Leo XIV's inauguration matters. The inauguration of Pope Leo XIV is more than a ceremonial handover of spiritual leadership, it is a moment that encapsulates centuries of religious tradition, the evolving mission of the Catholic Church, and the Church's enduring role on the global stage. For many, it may seem like a ritual rooted in the past, but in truth, this papal inauguration serves as a powerful symbol of hope, continuity, and transformation in an increasingly complex world. The significance of this event begins with its spiritual depth. As Pope Leo XIV receives the fisherman's ring, the centuries-old symbol of the authority passed down from St. Peter, he steps into a role that unites the theological, pastoral, and moral responsibilities of shepherding over 1 billion Catholics. This single ring represents more than personal power. It symbolizes servant leadership, a sacred duty to guide souls, defend the vulnerable, and uphold the teachings of the Church in a world that is constantly changing. Yet, the inauguration is not solely for Catholics. In our interconnected era, the eyes of the world are on the Vatican not just because of religious interest, but because of what the papacy represents, a moral voice in global affairs. Pope Leo XIV's background, shaped by a uniquely American perspective and a lifelong commitment to compassion, inclusivity, and bridge building, adds new dimensions to this ancient office. His leadership will likely extend into conversations about peace, justice, climate change, and ethical responsibility in a digital age. Moreover, the event brings together a diverse coalition of global figures, political leaders, religious representatives, and people of all walks of life. That very convergence shows that the Vatican is not an isolated sanctuary, but an active participant in shaping global narratives. The inauguration becomes a platform for quiet diplomacy, dialogue across faiths, and mutual understanding, things desperately needed in today's polarized world. For the faithful, this moment is a renewal of purpose. It invites Catholics to recommit to the values of their faith, humility, service, compassion, and unity. It sends a strong message that the Church is not frozen in the past, but is walking forward, guided by tradition yet open to the signs of the times. As Pope Leo XIV begins his pontificate, the world watches with both reverence and curiosity. His choices, messages, and priorities in the weeks to come will begin to define an era. Will his leadership steer the Church toward healing and renewal? Will he act boldly on issues of justice and peace? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear. This inauguration is not simply the start of a new papacy, it is the birth of a new spiritual and diplomatic chapter for the world.